Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hope all is well. I am up bright and early this morning. I want to talk about this. Saw this yesterday, and I said, well, instead of me just posting the video, I want to give commentary to it because it's a lot in there. And, because I've lived in a few of these places, Minnesota, Memphis, Florida, and a few other places, I want to give commentary to what you're about to see. Anyways, because Jamal Bryant is out here talking about what he did for the Target boycott, we're going to give some commentary to this. Tonight we are, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, what's up, Ashley? Prophets Mahara, Mahogany, what's going on? Malek, what is it? Mel Rice? Good morning. Good morning. I want to give commentary to this. So, first of all, let's hear what Jamal had to say. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Ambassador? What's up, Barnes? Janelle, what's going on? Good morning. Let's hear what Jamal had to say.
I think we could do it, but we did. History has just been made. The most effective and powerful boycott by Black people since the Montgomery bus boycott 70 years ago. We asked for 4 things, and I'm grateful to God that we've got 3 of them. They have invested $2 billion back into the Black community as they pledged after the death of George Floyd. On top of the $2 billion, an additional $100 million to immediate organizations that are meeting the needs within our community. Number 2, we asked them to partner with HBCUs. They have found, and we have found collectively, one that will do our pilot program with 12 other HBCUs to follow. Number 3, a reimagining of DEI. It's been a rough year for our community. 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs, and this is the highest unemployment for our people in years. The only thing that we didn't get accomplished, but we're still working towards, is an investment into Black banks. And I'm believing by grace, it's gonna get done. This new CEO has come handling business, and I'm glad to walk with him. The immediate target fast has come to an end. We claim victory. We're grateful. Go in or stay out. But I'm grateful.
Now, Jamal did all of this. Mahogany said, I like Jamal, but this has gotten on my last nerve. Girl, when I tell you, I'm like, I just got so many questions. Hey, Miss Regina, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The ladies who actually were the starter of the boycott on Target had something to say. And I thought it was quite interesting because as you can see on her face, her name was Naima. I think it was Naima. Hold on, I'm about to get it for you. Hold on one second. That's what happens when I open up these apps. Just these fine peepers. Ooh. Yeah, let me say happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do something. Good morning, everybody. Content disclaimer. We're gonna say everything allegedly unless we got the facts, proofs, and receipts, but we have the facts, proof, and the mother receipts. Yes, y'all, my dog's looking at me like I'm going crazy. But anyways.
Oh, yeah. It's the KingJivesShow, baby.
So they're asking me, did Jamal get paid? That's what we gonna find out. Yeah, that's what we gonna find out, Marsh Money. Because I'm like, what did you get out the deal? Because you're not just, baby, I know I wouldn't. Hello, praise God. I'm not gonna be out here beating the pavement, and I'm not getting nothing out the deal. And we're not gonna act like, oh Mario, oh you can't be like that. No. Let's be honest. If I'm going to do the work, I want to make sure that I get a little piece of something off of it too. I'm about the communities. Okay, let's hear. I used to do stuff for free all the time, but baby, let me tell you something. Them bills came knocking. They came knocking at my door. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So if you got a problem with what I just said,
Shut up, bitch.
okay, right, because I'm missing some coins. Period. So I know he got broke off something. I just believe he getting broke off or about to get broke off. Because first of all, you are asking for $200 million. And the way all of this stuff is set up, especially with the church, y'all done refinance the church. Right. Mahogany said maybe his wife needs something out of Target. Child. You get what I'm saying? Oh, a deal was made. Oh, a deal was made, Devin. A deal was made. Let's go ahead and get to it. It's morning. He said they got $3 billion and an extra $100 million. Child. Let me see. I want to do something really quick. Let me just go and play me a quick little song so I can get my little mojo up real quick, and then I'll be right back, okay?
Get back, Satan, I'm running late. Get back, Satan, I'm running late. Said I got to get to heaven before they close the gate. Get back, Satan, I'm running late. Come on, church. Oh, get back, Satan, I'm running late. Get back, Satan, I'm running late. Said I got to get to heaven before they close the gate. Get back, Satan, I'm running late. Come on, everybody help me. Get back, Satan.
All right, so we're back. So the lady who is right here, this is Zakiya. This is Zakiya. And the lady that's about to come on is Nekima Armstrong. So they're the ones. Dion, I'm coaching all day, baby. It's in my burns. It's in my burn mirrors. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and play this. Let's see what they got to say.
We back. Hashem, I'm about to forward you a text. Hashem, can you work on this with Candace? Lord, I'm live. I don't need to be telling all our business. Come on, y'all. Come on back in and tap in and share. What is this? Tap in, y'all. Share.
About to put y'all back in your kennel.
All right, let me see if I can add Nekima on this phone. All right, y'all share. Come on, we back. Is this better? Can y'all see me better? Salam, Hotel Brother Reefa. It's early out there in Cali. What up, though? Go ahead on and share. It's about to be good.
Not the Fruit Loop earrings.
Share. About to bring Nekima on. We're about to tell the truth.
I need to give me a little piece of coffee too.
Make sure y'all share. We're about to have this conversation about to hold people accountable. Fake leaders do not get to come in. Fake leaders do not get to come in and just take over something that they didn't start.
Amen.
So I'm going to bring on my friend, my sister Nekima Levy Armstrong, who is one of the founders of the actual Target boycott. And beyond that, okay, here we go. Let me do that. Okay, can you request. It says audience. Nekima, you got to click on. Okay, hold on. Let me see. How do I do it? I'm not here for this no more. Okay, I'm inviting you. It says add. Okay, now look. Are you on your phone, Nekima, or are you on a computer? Try. Oh, here we go. Wants to join your video. Thank you, baby. Here we go. Accept. Add. It says add. So add. This is a conspiracy. If they don't let her join,
Oh,
probably Mark Zuckerberg and I'm trying to suppress my. Here we go.
Okay, it worked that time.
Okay. Welcome.
I tried to use my computer, but my computer wasn't coming up with the request, so I'm using my phone.
I was just about to say, yeah, we probably need to do this on the phone. Thank you, sis. I know it's been a crazy time for you, and I know you got a lot of media requests. So I do appreciate you, and thank you for being willing to come on my little small platform to help set the record straight.
Anything for you, sis, for real. Like, you hold it down for our people. You're genuine. You care about our young people as well. So of course I'm gonna make time.
Yes, absolutely. So let me, I guess I'll start with some framing and just background. So Nekima, for people who don't know, Nekima and I go back. I consider Nekima a good friend of mine. We actually worked together. She was my boss. She actually hired me and I worked under her for 2.5 years. And I'm telling y'all publicly, and I already told her this privately, but Nekima is one of the best people I've ever had to work with. A boss, right? I've heard from so many colleagues, particularly Black women, especially in this space, about tension between Black women and not being able to work well together. That was not my experience at all. And Nekima, you encouraged me to step out and be stronger. You recognize my strengths. And so I just wanted people to really know the character of who you are and why I love you so much and why, I'm loyal and I will always defend my people. So now that we got that out of the way.
That means a lot to me. And it was my blessing to work with you as well. Like, we had some very powerful experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I got a feeling that
Mississippi, remember going to Mississippi, meeting with Black women there. I mean, just phenomenal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know we're going to continue as we are now, continuing to be partners and work together. So let's get into this, because this is what people really want to hear. First of all, I can't tell you how angry I was.
Back up just a little bit. Back your face up just a little bit.
Okay, Hashem's giving. Okay. Is that better?
All I can see is your nose and mouth.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, babe. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, back up, mama.
I hope it's okay. Anyway.
I can see your full face.
Good, thank you. Anyway, this is Facebook's platform. I ain't trying to, this ain't no daggone, anyway. I was angry when I saw the press conference on social media in Washington, D.C. at the press club. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, so when I watched their press conference, and I'm like, wait, y'all done had meetings with the CEO. Who told y'all? Like, what? Like, you don't, this, anyway. So let me, can you tell the people, Nekima, how you learned about what Jamal Bryant, Tamika Mallory, and Nina Turner was doing? Just share that with us, how you learned about that.
Yesterday or from the beginning?
Let's start from the beginning to provide context.
Okay. Well, one, thank you again for having me on your platform. And thank you to everybody who's tuning in to hear the truth about what has unfolded here. It's sad that we even have to take time to address this, but I believe that there's been a lot of manufactured confusion. And who benefits from that confusion? Target Corporation, the company that we are all seeking to hold accountable and that we have held accountable quite successfully, I might add, for over a year. So I think that that needs to be acknowledged, just the power of the people in banding together when they didn't think it could be done, right? As Target's numbers were dropping, their stock prices, foot traffic, they tried to blame everything but the boycott. But we knew all along that the boycott was going to be effective and that it was working and is still working. And that is why you see the confusion that showed up yesterday regarding this boycott. So just going back to the beginning real quick.
Please.
So for those who may not know, Target is headquartered in Minneapolis. So it is a hometown company. Target has enjoyed so much support from people across Minneapolis. They throw a lot across Minnesota, actually. The Dayton family were the original founders of Target. And, you know, they're a beloved political family. You know, Governor Dayton was our governor after during the time Philando was killed. You know, and he
Wow.
said before the public, had Philando not been black, this wouldn't have happened. That was bold for a governor. So that just kind of gives you a sense of the heart of the Dayton family. And they were the ones that formed Target ultimately. And I bring them up because when all of this happened, when we launched this boycott, the founders' daughters actually wrote an op-ed in the LA Times calling out Target, saying that they did not agree with Target's decision to roll back diversity, equity, and inclusion, that was not, you know, what their father and their family intended. So that was very powerful, you know, to have that family stand in solidarity with our movement to call for accountability of Target. So, like I said, Target's beloved, right? And like you all know, Minneapolis has had a lot of national incidences and turmoil,
Yeah.
police killings that have made national and international news.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the biggest issues that happened here was the Minneapolis police killing of George Floyd. That took place in May of 2020.
And people
And
should know that you were the one of the first people to organize that protest and how the world learned about it.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've been on the ground for a long time. And then that day in particular, I mean, it was just a normal Memorial Day, but I was tagged in a woman's Facebook post named Ashley Canones, whose husband had been killed by one of the suburban police departments. So she became an activist. That day, she tagged me and several other people, maybe a handful of people, and said, Minneapolis police killed somebody today by
Mm-hmm.
choking them or crushing their throat. So
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. I looked online, I saw nothing. So I called the police chief, our first black police chief, Madeira
You
Arredondo,
were
and I
the
asked him.
president. You were the
Oh,
president of
not
the
during that
Minneapolis.
time. Not
Okay.
during that time. Um, I used to be the president of the NAACP from 2015 to 2016.
The
And then
Minneapolis
I,
president. Mm-hmm.
yes, and then I ran for mayor of Minneapolis in 2017 on a police accountability platform.
That's
Right.
right.
And all the while I continued organizing. I'm an attorney on top of being an organizer and an ordained
That's
reverend.
right. That's right.
So fast forward to that day in 2020, I called the chief and asked him if MPD had killed somebody. He said no, they died as a result of a medical incident. I asked him if he had seen video. He said no. I said you need to see some video immediately. That's not what the community's saying happened. I took to Facebook. I let the community know. Look, this is what the chief said. This is what Ashley said. Now we need to see some video.
Right.
Somebody then tagged me in the video, but that was taken at the time by a 17-year-old Darnella Frazier, showing the
Mm.
truth of what happened to George Floyd. So I shared the video. I broke down crying when I saw it. Then I called the chief and I sent him the video. That's how he found out the truth of what happened to George Floyd. And he talks about it in his book. His name is Madeira Arredondo. If you ever want to know the history of what really happened, right? So that
Thank you.
happened. And then after I got off the phone with him, I reached out to another organizer, a white woman named Jess Sundin, and I asked her to help me plan the first protest in the world, essentially, calling for
That's right.
justice for George Floyd. And it didn't matter. And we're in the middle of the night planning this protest. It didn't matter to us that it was during a pandemic. Why? Because we'd already been outside handing out masks to the black community. Every week we would show up at a local grocery store and hand out cloth masks to our community so that they would have some kind of protection from COVID. You know, and this was me going to my network, you know, white allies, asking them because they had been making masks for the medical community. And I said, now that you guys have made these masks, can you make them for the Black community?
What's up,
Because we're
Bono?
That's
not going to
right.
be protected from the government, you know, from
That's
all of
right.
this. So
That's
that's
right.
a little bit, you know, about me, right? And like what I stand for and just the way that I
Period.
move in this community.
Period.
So all that being said, so what happened in 2020 with George Floyd was a huge deal in our community and obviously nationally and internationally.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what people may not know, Target being a beloved uh, hometown company, is headquartered in downtown Minneapolis, but they also have a store on Lake Street, which is right across the street from the 3rd Precinct Police Station. That
Yes.
is the police station where the officers worked out of every day who killed George Floyd, right? And so, think about, you know, that week when George Floyd was killed and beyond, the 3rd Precinct was the site of a lot of protests where many of us got tear gassed. That's where we led people. You know, after that first protest, we marched from the site where George Floyd was killed to the 3rd Precinct, right across from Target. That night, the police came out heavy handedly in riot gear. They tear gassed people, shot flashbang grenades. And then in the days that followed, that's where people gathered to demand justice and demand charges for these officers. People would try to get into Target because of their eyes burning from the tear gas. Sometimes Target staff would lock the doors and not let people even come in to buy milk, you know, when they had their eyes burning and stuff. So
Wow.
Target was very well aware of the impacts of George Floyd on our community. We were still recovering from all of that, all the trauma, the stress, the nonstop organizing and protesting in the cause for justice. So in 2021, as we were attending the trials for Derek Chauvin, one of the main officers who killed George Floyd, Target made a pledge. They emerged as a national leader on racial equity. They pledged $2.1 billion.
Come on.
And
Tell it.
and they said that they were going to do 4 things with that 2.1 billion. They said number one, they were going to improve the Black customer shopping experience. Number two, they said that they would add more Black brands to the shelves. Number three, they said that they would improve their diversity and hiring practices amongst Black employees. And number four, they said that they would improve their supplier diversity network. So all of
Mm.
those things made us really excited to see Target stepping up and being seen as a national leader on racial equity in the face of the calls for police accountability.
Come
So
on.
fast forward to January of 2025 when Donald Trump takes office as the
Mm-hmm.
president of the United States. What
Mm-hmm.
did Donald Trump begin to do? Attack diversity, equity, and inclusion. What did
Mm-hmm.
Target do? Instead of standing on business like Target claimed in 2021, causing us to be even more loyal to them as a customer base, they
Right.
became one of the first companies to capitulate to the Trump administration by putting out a statement saying that they were rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion. We could not believe it. Like, how could you abandon the people who have helped sustain your company? The people who you know have suffered as a result of police brutality, as a result of the killing of George Floyd. How can you bow down to an authoritarianism, a
Come on.
fascist, and a tyrant? But that's
Come on.
exactly what they did. So, one of my comrades, Monique Colors Doty, who I've organized with.
Okay, so this is where I have an issue with this with Target because if you pledge to make a contribution and donation towards a community, and then because of a administration that comes in, presidential administration that comes in, now you want to bring everything back. I'm confused. So the contradiction with the whole Target situation, because my question is, and Miss Virginia, you said it best. Why would Target be responsible? Because me as a business owner, I'm locking my doors too. I mean, I would do what I can to help, but I would lock my doors too because I know what happens when riots come. Period, point blank. Now, if whatever I can do to help, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to open my store up. I'm not going to open my store up to people for people to come in and riot, to destroy, and to vandalize. Now, I'm not labeling a black person. I'm not labeling a white person. I'm not labeling anybody. What I'm saying is this, I'm saying for people, because during those riots, it wasn't black people, it was white people that was out there. And it was also people of color, all peoples of color that were out there too. So going back to this, I understand that mind frame of Target. Then they come back and say that, oh, they're going to give 2 billion dollars. But then when Trump comes in, you know, it's like, oh, we got to pull back. No, you need to stick to what you promised. Go ahead, baby. What's your name, daughter? Nekima.
For a long time. She didn't come into this struggle, you know, just randomly. Her nephew, Marcus Golden, was killed by the St. Paul Police Department in January of 2015. That's how we met, out on the front lines where she became an activist after her nephew got killed, demanding justice. Then she started helping other families who had loved ones killed at the hands of the police in Minnesota. And so she reached out to me first after this announcement happened from Target.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I'm like, what? And so the next morning I took to Facebook, which was a Saturday morning. And this was again like
I think the reason why Target was targeted was because of their initial statements and their support for black people. And then they pulled it back because there are other companies who have done the same thing too. Okay. I mean, i.e., we could talk about Walmart. We could talk about Publix. But see, ain't no black person. And plus, Publix is not all over the place. But Publix down south has done the same thing too. But you don't see Nilkos talking about, I ain't gonna shop at Publix no more. No, man. We've been to go to Publix, man. I'm gonna go to Publix today and give me some chicken. Hello, girl, shut the fuck up. A period. Okay, I'm gonna go give me some Publix chicken. No. So it is because of the DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department, but it's a lot of other businesses that have done the same thing too. But see, if we're going to follow suit with that, we need to follow suit across the board. Not just with Target. Stop. Why don't we create our own stuff? Now, this is where I have a problem. Why don't we create our own stuff? Why don't we create our own stuff? See, because if we create our own stuff, that $2 billion, hey, LaKendra, that $2 billion would be in our community. But see, we don't want to do stuff like that. But then we want to continue talking about Black Wall Street and things like that of that nature. But if we do our own stuff, we wouldn't have to worry about a Target or a Walmart. Listen, Miss J, Public Service, girl, gonna go give me a turkey and roast beef with romaine lettuce and girl, don't you start. Girl, got my mouth water right now. Oh, praise God. Oh no. But go ahead.
Around the last week of January, and the last week of January 2025. So I went to Facebook, started talking to my network. I'm like, did you guys see this? And I basically put up an article showing that Target was rolling back DEI because that is what all the headlines were showing. And I said, what do you guys think we should do about this? Now, I have a very engaged network when it comes to
You
social
sure do.
justice issues, right? One
Mhm.
highly intelligent, highly active. I'm like, what are we gonna do?
Right.
And people in my networks were outraged. They're like, I'm cutting up my Target card. I'm not shopping there again. There was a sister in the comments named Leslie Taylor who said we should do a Target blackout. And I said, I love that idea, but let's.
Okay. So as I'm going, I'm gonna stop and answer and respond to certain things. So Gloria Spence, I 100% agree with you. And that's what I was saying earlier. Why don't we start? We do have black clothing brands. We do have banks. We do have restaurants. But see, the problem is we don't heavily support our own. We don't heavily support our own. And this is why you have certain influencers that get online that talk about, oh, like there's some black restaurants here in Tampa. And we get online and we go to them and we do videos and we push them and everything. But we still like to go to other stuff too. Baby, what? You know? Instead of making these other restaurants rich, why don't we make these black restaurants rich? Hello? And what I need for these black restaurants to do is once y'all get to a point and a level of y'all got coin, y'all need to remain the same. But make sure that you're on top of your game as far as health department and everything like that, because we don't want y'all to get closed down. Amen. Period, point blank. And then the other thing I saw was Jamal Bryant, what really influenced a lot of stuff with Target. He did. He really pushed a lot of this going on. And that is greatly appreciated, okay? That is greatly appreciated. But see, what we're finding out is that you didn't got on here and you got backdoor deals. You get what I'm saying? You're getting backdoor deals. You're getting backdoor deals. That's what we're coming to realize. Miss Rose said, you smell the roast beef on your fingertips. Ain't nothing like a good old deli sandwich. I'm telling you, baby, ain't nothing like a good old deli sandwich from Publix, baby. Roast beef. Okay, I'm getting off subject. Roast beef and turkey. I mean that boar's head roast beef. Oh, a little provolone and American cheddar, some hot mustard, some salt and pepper and vinegar. Oh, Lord, some cucumbers and banana peppers and a little piece of onion. My God, today. All right, let's get back to this. All right, let's go. Look, Kendra, you ain't missed nothing.
Turning into a Target boycott. So
Come on.
then I reached back out to Monique and also the third co-founder of the Target boycott, Jaylani Hussein. Now, Jaylani is Somali American. He has been 10 toes down with us for years
He
on the front
has, yeah.
lines, fighting for police accountability and racial justice. And he is one of the men who is very comfortable following the leadership of Black women.
Yes.
Standing 10 toes down for native born Black people in our struggles. So
Come
he's
on.
the other person I reached out to. So the three of us hopped on a call together and we had a discussion about Target, what my network said, what we were going to do. And we decided we are going to launch a nationwide boycott of Target. We have to hold this company accountable. Think about the reasons. Target was seen as one of the most liberal, progressive companies in America, in spite of some missteps at times. That's how they were seen. And we felt that if we let Target off the hook, like other people had let Walmart, Amazon, whoever, they let them off the hook. But when it came to
Yep.
Target in our backyard, we said no. If we
Right.
let them off the hook, then every company in America is going to feel comfortable reversing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the gains that have been made. Right? And that's exactly what I'm sure the Trump administration was counting on. So
Yep.
we said we got to hold the line, we got to hold Target accountable. So from that point, we worked on a press release that laid out the entire situation regarding Target's history as a hometown company. It laid out what happened with George Floyd and the pledges that they made. We also talked about what happened during the civil rights movement and Black people who came before us who fought for our civil rights and how it's time for us to take a stand. So in the meantime, as we're putting all this press release and everything together to prepare for a press conference that was going to happen a few days later, I was contacted by one of my former law students who's also an activist, who was friends with Tamika Mallory. Now, I knew Tamika Mallory. She had come here, for a press conference when George Floyd was killed, but we weren't friends. We were
Right.
acquaintances.
Right.
And so my former law student asked me, would I hop on a call with Tamika Mallory and some others, because they wanted to know what we were going to do regarding Target and they wanted to support our efforts. I was reluctant, I was skeptical, but I knew she was friends with Tamika. So I said, okay, fine, I'll hop on a call. So I sent her the press release. She then sent it to Tamika, who shared it with the other people in the group. I got on a call with them. Now, on this
Okay, tell
call
us
was
who them. Tell us who was them. You got on the call with Tamika, and then who else?
Pastor Jamal Bryant, who I
Come
had
on.
never met before.
Okay, let's tell it.
Nina Turner, Linda Sarsar, who was one of the heads of the women's movement that Tamika was part of. Remember the women's march?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was on the call, and then there were a couple of young Black ministers who were on there, one of whom I knew, a young man named Stephen Green, who had worked for the National NAACP president when I was the Minneapolis president. He came here in 2015 when Jamar Clark was killed. Because at that point, we had an 18-day occupation outside the police precinct,
I know
demanding
you don't
justice
play.
for Jamar. So
Right.
Stephen Green came here, right? And we became friends at that time, but we lost touch. So he was on the call. So the first thing Tamika Mallory says when we get on this call is,
Tell
thank
it.
you for your clarity, because she had read our press release and we were the first to lay out the narrative around why we were boycotting Target and why this was so important and the connection to our community, George
That's
Floyd, the
right.
pledge, everything. And like I said, our civil rights, in history. And so she said, thank you for your clarity, and how you all laid this out, etc. And then, from there we had a conversation because she said, I want to put together a mothership, of folks, nationally who support what you all are doing in Minnesota to help amplify it, etc. And so I listened to what they had to say. We got off the phone, and then we held our press conference maybe a day or two later in front of Target's headquarters in downtown Minneapolis. That same night, and they said they were going to watch press conference, whatever. That same Turner goes on Roland Martin's show and starts positioning herself as the leader of the boycott.
Oh
Now,
my
she
God.
runs an organization, I believe, called Strike for All. They had put out some graphics about wanting to boycott, but they had no narrative. They had no face behind it. It was just whatever they put out there was some graphics, about a boycott. So she goes on Roland Martin and she positions herself as a leader of the boycott.
That's
And
so
then
disappointing.
it was. And during her conversation with Roland
Because I
Martin,
know her.
yeah, I didn't know her then. And anyway, I know her now. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. But she
I
went on
know.
the show, and I respected her before all of this. So
I
let's
do.
be clear.
Yeah.
I didn't know her, but I respected her. Um, so she says during the interview with Roland Martin, we have activists on the ground in Minneapolis, like talking about us as if we work for her, that we're the activists on the ground in Minneapolis. And I'm thinking, like, what is going on here? So, if all that being said,
And see, this is the problem that we have in our community. Instead of bringing the people that actually start things, we try to take the initiative. Or even if I'm brought to the table, the person who initiated the fight, I want to give reverence to them. I want to give reference to them so that the people know, hey, it's such and such that started this march. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. But see, what also should have happened is that she should have brought her to the table too and said, hey, I want to bring her because she's the person who actually started this. But see, we have an issue with trying to start things and be the face ourselves. And this has always been the problem with our Junior. There's a jar in there of chia seeds and flax seeds. It's in oat milk. You get that and that spoon in there and bring it to me, please. I feel like my mama telling folks to come bring me stuff.
Said a few days later, I get a call out the blue from Tamika Mallory. And Tamika says to me, "Oh, I want to let you know that Jamal set up a targetfast.org website." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, he's going to do a 40-day Target fast, for Lent to get the faith community involved in not shopping at Target. And I was like, I'm confused. We already launched a nationwide Target boycott that began on February 1st in Minneapolis. Why would he now do a Target fast? I said, that is confusing. And I said, I think people are going to be confused because what is the difference is just the language between a fast and a boycott. And I said, and what does he think is going to happen after the 40 days? I'm like, because in my experience, no company is going to fold in 40 days.
Junior, go.
Right. And so I'm like, it just made no sense to me. Tamika didn't have any real answers. I think her job was to
share that sounds like pimping since been pimping. That's what it sounds like to me. Because the fact that, and I'm gonna let you finish this, but the fact that people got on, like you said, on a news show to position themselves and then make y'all seem like, oh, y'all on the ground, y'all the little people. I'm angry because that has happened to me like a lot. And you see this happen a lot with people who have brands. These are not
and big platforms and big followings. Right? Because we're low key, right? Like some people know us nationally and internationally for the work we do, but we're really low key in Minnesota. You don't see us chasing spotlights. You see us boots on the ground. We do our work whether cameras are here or they not. That's why people were so shocked when 2020 happened. They thought it was a one and done. Like Minnesota rose up. Yeah, we've been rising up for years. And then when the Operation Metro Surge happened, when ICE came, people were shocked to see the response from Minnesota. But all this time, we've been building, we've been organizing, we've been consistent, boots on the ground, right? And so to have somebody take advantage of that and to say, oh, we got activists in Minneapolis, when we're like, we don't work for you. We work for our people.
And see, that's the thing. I have family still in Minnesota. And when ICE went to Minnesota and they were shooting and killing people up there in Minnesota, they were out there protesting. They didn't need no Jamal Bryant. They didn't need no Tamika Mallory or anything. People got out protesting. People got out standing against all this and all that's going on. And it's like, and it's very true. These people with these big platforms, it's like, baby, are you out here with us or are you just online talking? See, if I was financially able, I would have been up there. But see, I got family that's there that can get footage and everything for me. But the thing is, if you're going to act like you're the leader, then get out there and lead. Amen, somebody? Amen? Oh. If you're going to get out here and lead, you need to have your ass down there with the people marching and spending some time. Where Dr. Ben Israel at? Hey, oh, I see him. Hey, sir, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. And that's the thing. It's like people need to be involved. You don't sit out here and you're like, oh, yeah, we're doing this. No, you need to be out there so you can say, we are. Meaning all of us, including me, we're out there boots on the ground. These women have been out there doing the work. Jamal, where you been? Jamal, where you been? Tamika Mallory, we not just talking about George Floyd. We're talking about everybody.
In this community, you know, calling out the injustice. So yes, it was very disturbing to see that, you know, just I don't really have words for it other than just shameful and disturbing. So I think that Tamika's role was to butter me up regarding, you know, this Target fast thing that Jamal was doing, which again made no sense to me. So a couple days later, I look on the website. I see no mention that there's already a Target boycott underway. I see no mention of our community in Minneapolis. I see Kirk Franklin's picture on there. And I'm thinking, what does Kirk Franklin, a gospel musician, have to do with any of this? It was just, in my opinion, shenanigans. So I go in the text group with these people and I'm like, help me understand what is going on. This looks like co-opting to me. Why is this website up? Why is our community not referenced? I'm like, this means something to us. Like after we have fought for George Floyd, all these other stolen lives, holding it down. I'm like, this is not a game. Like this means something to our community from us calling out a hometown company for capitulating to Donald Trump. And so when I brought this up, I was gaslit, told it wasn't what I thought it was. And then, you know, Tamika said, you know, well, I'm on a flight. You know, I can't really respond now. Jamal, can you respond, you know, and fix this, blah, blah, blah. So the reason she was on a flight turns out, which I find out maybe the a day or two later, when she went on the Breakfast Club to talk about her book, she wound up spending about 75% of the interview talking about the Target boycott. And again, positioning them as the leaders of this boycott. You know, she shouted me out in Minneapolis, but it was still like peripheral. And she had gone to Jamal's church to sell her books on that Sunday. Because I caused them out on a Saturday night.
Pimpin' has been
And so
pimping.
I'm like, so this why, you know, so anyway, she went to his church to sell her books. She didn't mention that when she said that's why she was on a flight. She was on her way to Atlanta. And so she talks about this stuff on the Breakfast Club. So then the next thing you know, here comes Jamal getting a publicist, going on Roland Martin show, going on the Breakfast Club, going on CNN, positioning himself as the leader of the Target boycott. And we're looking at this like, how dare you? Like, why would you do this? And so my former law student who was friends with Tamika saw the truth of what was really going on with them co-opting. And so she called them out in the group chat and she was like, I'm not going to be a part of this anymore. This is wrong what you guys are doing to our community, etc. And she got out of the group chat. And
Wow.
they tried to call her. She didn't answer the phone. She was so hurt and upset
I
because
know.
she is the one that
I'm hurt
asked, you
behind
know,
Nina. Yeah.
yeah, she's the one that asked for me to get on a call with them in spite of my skepticism. I gave them a chance, you know. And so she got out the group chat after being upset. And I stayed in there for a couple hours. I wanted to see how were they going to respond to what she had to say. They didn't say nothing. Radio silence in that group chat. So it's me and it's all of them. So I said, look, I want to echo what she said. This is unacceptable. You know, you guys are co-opting, you're gaslighting, blah, blah, blah. Immediately, Tamika Mallory calls my phone. I don't answer. Then immediately, Nina Turner tries to call me. I don't answer. And I go back in the group chat. I'm like, look, we need to air whatever this is out for everybody
Don't be
to
trying to
get.
have no
No
side conversation.
sidebars. Nope. Let's have a conversation about this because this is not right.
So I believe the reason why it wasn't brought out in the very beginning was because if they started all this back and forth, there would have been nothing done. So I think a lot of people didn't say anything, but I do agree this should have been discussed in the very beginning. But it would have looked very disorganized if they had to start all the beefing in the very beginning, because I mean, there is stuff that's being done now, but it's like, it's becoming very chaotic because it's like a lot of these people, okay, so let me put it to you like this. A lot of these people are benefiting financially from this here, whether it's followers, whether it's money, whether it's partnerships or whatever, they're benefiting. These people are not getting no recognition for none of this stuff, and they're the reason for any of this Target situation.
So they weren't willing to have a conversation. Tamika got an attitude and got out the group chat. So I started tangling with all of them in the group chat myself. And I'm like, I'm talking to all of y'all in this group chat. This is not right, blah, blah, blah. They did not stand up to Jamal. They did not call for any kind of accountability. I was gaslit. You know, only person who really said something was Stephen Green. Like, well, I care about relationships. My thing was, if you care about relationships, then speak up and hold your homeboy accountable. This is a pastor. You're a minister, and you see what he's doing, and you're silent about it. So I realized at that point, nah. And I let them know I'm out of here. Like, I'm done with this. So I got out of the group chat and left them to their own devices. And then maybe an hour later, I guess Tamika was still fuming. She set up a new group chat that added my former law student back into it. And my former law student, didn't say anything. And we went at it in there like, this is ridiculous. And Jamal Bryant got in the conversation, but he was gaslighting, acting like it was just two women in a dispute. When his behavior was the root of the entire situation, I was just like, I just got out. I was like, we're not going to solve anything. These people are not serious. I'm going to continue focusing on what we're doing here.
Let me ask you something, Nekima. Did you ever directly ask them, what's y'all goal? Like,
I asked them why. I'm like, I didn't understand. They said their goal was to amplify the boycott on a national level in support of us. That's what they said their goal was. But here I come, like I said, out of the blue, getting a call from Tamika Mallory. This was not discussed amongst the group. And we had a couple different meetings by then. Why didn't this come to the group if somebody was trying to set up a 40-day fast and setting up a website? If it's supposed to be a mothership, you know, where we're having a united front on this. So sidebar stuff was already going on that showed me that they were not genuine from day one. So I stepped away from them, cut ties. I was just so frustrated and disappointed and hurt. And so were the other organizers here. Even our elders were very upset. It's like they couldn't believe that he would do something like this. And so I just tried to keep it cool. Like, let's just stay focused, continue to amplify the boycott as best we can, and move forward, you know, as we continue organizing in our community. So fast forward, this man he got a publicist, like I said, continuing to go to all these news stations and everywhere. George Floyd, the 5th anniversary happened. He suddenly has George Floyd added to his talking points when he had nothing to do with George Floyd or the movement here, but that was one of our talking points. Tamika had asked me for our demands. I told her our demands when she called me, you know, about this 40-day fast. When I looked on the website, 2 of our demands were on the website, and a bunch of other stuff added for HBCUs, Black media. And that's one way that Jamal Bryant got, you know, some of these men in power to back him, by putting these different things on there that had nothing to do with Target and nothing to do with the boycott. Right? Trying to ask for money for HBCUs and internships and money for media and all kind of stuff. Our focus was on Target.
So these, excuse me, they even stole the movement to pad the pockets of their friends?
However people want to look at it, it added all this other stuff that was not on our demand list. And again, our first and foremost demand was that Target would reverse its decision to roll back diversity, equity, and inclusion. We also wanted them to account for the $2.1 billion that they pledged, right? And so our demands were clear and they were in alignment with the situation. His were not. So that to me is how he wound up getting the black press connected to it. Just on and on. Just a lot of manipulation as far as I'm concerned. So let's fast forward, right? So the summer of 2025. Next thing you know, as he's gallivanting, acting like the leader of this boycott. So 40 days done passed by then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Target ain't responded, in a meaningful way to what he was trying to do, which we knew
Mm-hmm.
that they wouldn't in 40 days.
Right.
Right? He never clarified things the way he was supposed to. So, but by then we were done with him. I was done with all of them.
Period.
So the next thing you know, I start seeing headlines saying that the Reverend Al Sharpton had met with Brian Cornell.
Yeah.
Remember that? Who was the CEO of Target at the time. And then a picture surfaced, a photo op with the Reverend Al Sharpton and two staff members from NAN with Brian Cornell. I see this. Now, the first thing I did was cackle because I'm like, what is going on here? Why is Al Sharpton in a picture with these people when we're in the midst of a boycott and our community is united? I'm like, this is going to cause confusion. And I'm like, and why would
Why
Target
did
try to
Target feel
choose our
comfortable?
leaders
Yeah.
when they know
Right.
damn well we right here in Minneapolis?
It's
Why
like
would
it's
you
almost
go
like the
to New
corporations got a
York?
list. They got a list of the blacks they can call to come calm the rest of us down.
Yes, that's exactly what they were trying to do. They actually flew to New York to meet with Al Sharpton. And so apparently, now this is what we found out in February, right? No, in January of this year. We actually wound up having a conversation with Al Sharpton about all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened was after this meeting and this photo comes out, the next thing you know, I'm suddenly getting a call from Roland Martin. Now, I had appeared on Roland Martin's show many times in the past to talk about police accountability. Roland Martin suddenly reaches out to me saying that he was putting a national coalition together that included Jamal Bryant, Nina Turner, Tamika Mallory, and who knows who else. And he wanted me to be a part of this national coalition. I'm like, Roland, absolutely not. I said, these people have no integrity. I tried to be in a national coalition with them.
None.
Their focus was on co-opting the movement.
Yep. And
I do
getting
not
paid.
trust them at any kind of negotiating table with Target if it ever gets to that point. So no, I'm not joining the national coalition. And the reason, and Roland said, I didn't know that you all were involved in launching the Target boycott. I'm just finding this out. So apparently, they told him once it looked like Al Sharpton was trying to co-opt the Target boycott, right? That is what it looked like at the time. So Roland was upset about that. So turns out, fast forwarding to January of 2026. This is after Renee Good is killed here by ICE. This is
Yeah.
while we're in full swing of ICE being here, thousands of agents terrorizing our community.
Yep.
I get out the blue, we started helping to lead on this issue as Black
Right.
civil rights organizers and helping to give it a civil rights and racial justice frame and
That's
a
right.
law enforcement accountability frame that hadn't been there before.
No, it
When
wasn't.
ICE came to any other community.
No.
So then that opened the door for national civil rights leaders to try to come here out of
They
the
trying
blue.
to co-opt that too.
So I get a call out of the blue
Nigga.
from somebody saying, hey, Al Sharpton wants to come to Minnesota and basically wants to know if it would be okay. And I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And I said
Stay
what
home.
I said.
See, they did the same thing when AJ Owens got shot and killed in Ocala. I was there. I was on phone calls and conversations with all of that. And then next thing I know, Tamika Mallory and Al Sharpton, all of them, they was in Ocala trying to do photo ops, trying to sit out here and do little converse. And I'm like, yo, this is not about photo ops. This woman just got shot by this white lady, and now her 3 kids are left out here. So then here comes being Crump. Baby, when I tell you, here come being Crump. And now they raising millions, $500,000, millions of dollars, so-called for these kids. Now I got a question. How are those kids doing today? I was at the funeral. How are those children doing today? Matter of fact, I want to know how George Floyd's family doing today. Huh? Okay.
You know, about what would happen if he came. And I said, make sure you give him this message.
Come
And
on.
then myself, Jaylani, and Monique, we were working on a press conference that was going to happen the next day, talking about ICE and all of that. And in our press release, we said, we do not want national civil rights leaders coming here unless we invite you. And this is
Period.
because of what happened in the past with them trying to come, take over, you know, ignore, downplay the work of local leaders, put their narrative on, be at
Yep.
negotiating tables with elected officials and law enforcement. We're like, it was unacceptable then, and we wasn't going to have it again.
Period.
So in our press release, we mentioned Al Sharpton, you know, saying, no, do not come here unless we invite you. So at the press conference, I've not only mentioned Al Sharpton, but I mentioned Tamika Mallory and Jamal Bryant, and may have mentioned Nina Turner and said, you're not welcome here, you know, to Minnesota, because of, you know, what you've done with the Target boycott and everything else. So that night, I get a text from somebody in Al Sharpton's camp asking me for a phone call. And I was skeptical initially, but I was like, you know what? Let me respond, because I don't want him coming here and saying he tried to reach out and I didn't respond. So
Right.
I called the person back, had a call with him, and let him know why we said no to Al Sharpton coming here. And one of the things that also happened was Al Sharpton had gone on MSNBC, and he said, you know,
Yeah, because he
nobody's
got a show on
organizing
there.
these people. He's like, nobody's organizing these people. You know, it's just organic. He's like, it's not NAACP, it's not NAN, it's not the Urban League, which was a lie. We're heavily organized. Just because we don't have these national big name civil rights orgs organizing us
Don't mean
doesn't
we ain't
mean
organized.
we ain't
Y'all not the
organized. Of course
legitimacy.
we're organized. How you think stuff is moving here? You know, but
Period.
there's a lot of grassroots groups and people that people didn't know outside of Minnesota who was organizing.
Right.
So that night I talked to his person, and then he put Al Sharpton on the phone. And I talked to Al Sharpton and let Al Sharpton know that I was really upset that he got involved in the Target boycott situation. I'm like, you had
Right.
nothing to do with this. You were focused on a Costco strategy, taking black people to Costco, which I thought was fine. So why would you even take a meeting with the CEO of Target when we're in the midst of a boycott?
Right.
And then be in a photo with him, which causes confusion. And so Al
Right.
Sharpton said, well, I took the photo because I didn't want people to think the stuff was happening behind closed doors.
Right.
And then he said when Target reached out to him, he said he would only meet if the organizers were there too. So who
Right.
did he call? Jamal Bryant. So Jamal Bryant also was at that meeting in New York with Al Sharpton and the CEO of Target. But Al Sharpton
Wow.
said when it came time for them to take the picture,
This the new CEO?
no, the old CEO. This
Okay.
was last summer.
Got it.
Right? And so when it got time for them to take the picture, Jamal Bryant got out the picture. He didn't want Nina Turner and Tamika Mallory to know that he had met with the Target CEO without them. And then he went to, yes. So Al Sharpton was like, I got double crossed by Jamal. And so, which cracked me up, right? And
You listen to
so,
this?
so Al Sharpton said that Roland Martin and Joy Reid hit him up mad, thinking that he had double crossed Jamal Bryant because they thought Jamal Bryant was the leader of the boycott. And Al Sharpton was like, Jamal Bryant was there. He was like, I got a picture of him in my office. Like, I didn't do anything wrong in this. I thought I was getting organized. So Al explained, Reverend Al Sharpton explained all this to me. And I felt at the time he was genuine in his response. I accepted his apology. He did apologize. He also said he was going to apologize on his show, which he did do. And then I agreed to have the other two co-founders have a conversation with Al as well. So the next morning, we set up a Zoom call so that they could hear from him and he could apologize directly to them for his role in the situation. Because one thing I said to Al, you know, what Reverend Al Sharpton was, once you found out that Jamal Bryant wasn't leading the boycott, because other pastors had told him, and this is because I wrote a letter, you know, to on behalf of the founders to the National Baptist Convention, the Black Baptist Convention leaders over the summer,
smart.
because they accepted $300,000 from Target in the middle of a boycott.
And guess who else was there? Guess who else was there? What was that, 44 minutes? 44 minutes. Miss Regina, that part is at 40. Well, I would say 40, start at 44 minutes. Guess who else was at that meeting? Sheard. Sheard was at that meeting. So when I was sitting out here talking about this, and y'all got mad at me, Sheard was at that meeting taking money, handshaking with all the, it was about eight other Baptist preachers. Okay, let's roll that back one more time, please.
Have the other two co-founders have a conversation with Al as well. So the next morning, we set up a Zoom call so that they could hear from him and he could apologize directly to them for his role in the situation. Because one thing I said to Al, you know, what Reverend Al Sharpton was, once you found out that Jamal Bryant wasn't leading the boycott, because other pastors had told him, and this is because I wrote a letter, you know, to on behalf of the founders to the National Baptist Convention, the Black Baptist Convention leaders over the summer, because they accepted $300,000 from Target in the middle of a boycott. So I wrote a letter with my co-founders and we asked them to give that money back. We're like, this is disrespectful. This is confusing to our community. This is, you know, you guys are selling out. And then I also attached a Target paid for where I laid out not only what Target had done as far as capitulating to Donald Trump, but I also laid out Target's role in mass incarceration in Hennepin County here in Minnesota.
Say that part.
How they have a very sophisticated surveillance system. They have trespassed a lot of Black folks from their stores for very little reason, following them around. They train law enforcement on their surveillance, and they also gave money to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office when Amy Klobuchar and Mike Freeman were the county attorneys, and told them, we don't just want arrests, we want convictions. Now yes, ma'am. That led to a number of young Black men being incarcerated in Hennepin County. And as a matter of fact, we found out about one young Black man he's an immigrant. His name is Mahdi Ali. Mahdi Ali is still in prison to this day. He is a grown man now in his 30s. This young man was 16 years old when he was wrongly accused of 2 murders he did not commit because he skipped school that day. The evidence shows that this is a wrongful conviction. And guess what Target did? They sent 2 of their employees, forensic analysts, to testify in the trial against Mahdi Ali. And that helped lead to a wrongful conviction of this young man. So I put all this in this targets brief and let the National Baptist Convention know. It is them rolling back DEI, but it's also what they have done as far as criminal justice. And I attached links as well so they could go do their own research about all of this. So I think that some of those ministers, even though they didn't respond to my email, I believe that they let Reverend Al Sharpton know that Jamal Bryant did not launch this boycott. But the
Yeah.
problem with Reverend Al was when he found out, he didn't reach out to us, even though he had been here multiple times when people were killed, like George Floyd, Amir Locke, Dante Wright. He preached at their
Name the
funerals,
name.
right?
Philando Castile. Y'all been on the ground doing this work for years, man. People need to really respect the leadership in Minneapolis.
Right.
Seriously.
And so he didn't reach out trying to figure out, with the lies that had been told. He just let it go till he wanted to come here. And that's when I was like, no, so the bottom line, and the co-founders was like, no, they were in agreement. No, unless we invite you, do not come. But we
Period.
forgave Al Sharpton, when he apologized. And like I said, apologized publicly and privately, which was the right thing to do. So fast forward, in January, as you know, as everything was heating up with ICE, Monique and I were a part of a group of folks who held a protest in City's church. We didn't storm the church, contrary to right-wing talking points. We went in the church, sat down in the worship service. I am also an ordained reverend. I have been since 2016. I've been a preacher since 2007.
That's
Monique
right.
is a deacon in her church. So we
Right.
went in as Christians to call out what was happening, which is the fact that a man named David Easterwood serves as a preacher at City's Church, a pastor, at City's Church, while also serving as the regional director for ICE. Not an ICE agent, but the director overseeing the conduct of the ICE agents who were violating people's.
You still there, sis? Violating people's rights. Oh man, you cooking. I think you're trying to come back in, sis. I heard something.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Maybe you got a phone call. You still there, sis? While Nekima is returning, yeah, look like we're having some technical difficulties. One of the things I wanted to point out, and I hope when she gets back she can speak to this, is that we hear a lot about centering Black women's leadership, particularly from the Democratic Party, particularly from certain Black people who have special interests at heart. And what I think is really interesting here, and from my perspective, is that what happened to that attitude in terms of following the leadership of Black women? Like, since when do we? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where the consistency is. Is it only follow Black women when they're doing what white folks tell them to do? I'm just trying to understand, like, when they taking money from people, when they need to, railroad us in our votes. Like, I really am trying to understand. Because the fact that the leadership on the ground in Minneapolis, in the Twin Cities, okay, has been thoroughly disrespected. Okay, looks like we lost Nekima. Hopefully she'll be back. Has been thoroughly disrespected. It's not okay. And these people must be held to account. They will continue to be held accountable. And you all need to know who they are. The names are Jamal Bryant, Tamika Mallory, Nina Turner. From what we heard from Nekima, Al Sharpton has apologized and his apology has been accepted. So we'll definitely give him credit for that. But all of this is really about clout chasing, y'all. This is about dollars and cents. And I was really hoping Nekima could kind of get to that, because I really truly believe. Okay, looks like I see you, sis. Let me try to add you back. Okay, here she come. Here she come. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. Here she come. I just added you, sis. Hopefully it'll come in. There we go. Sorry, we lost you.
Sorry about that. Facebook is tweaking. It said I had to turn my phone in order to get on, and now it's weird. It wouldn't let me like do a normal. So I think I'm gonna have to probably turn my camera off. Or I guess, is this
Wow.
okay? You can see me. Do
Yeah,
I look normal? Okay, because
it's
I'm
fine.
huh?
Yeah. No, I think yeah, one of the things that I wanted to get to, I want you to finish that point, but one of the things I wanted to get to is that before we wrap up is, do you have evidence, or what are your thoughts based on pattern recognition, right? Allegedly. It sounds like to me the three have met with the current CEO of Target, and they went and negotiated without you, without Monique, and without Jaylani. Like, who empowered them to do that is what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Themselves.
y'all
And
went
what
and
was their
negotiated.
point? What was their point of negotiating if you're going to go to the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., and announce an end to the boycott with nothing to show for our community, which is extremely disrespectful. And it also is a devaluing of all of the sacrifices that people have made in deciding to not shop at Target for over a year. And you got to think about all the women, particularly Black women, but also allies, right? Who are responsible for discretionary funding in their family, who've helped sustain Target all these years. The women have been the ones who said, no, we are not going to step foot in this store unless and until you correct the situation. And now there's plenty of women and folks around the country saying, I don't care what Target does at this point. They've shown who they are. We're not going back. So
Period.
there was no point to the press conference, because once they started getting backlash, what did you see happen? You
Yep.
saw Nina Turner
Tamika was
and
the first.
Tamika
Well,
Mallory backtracking now,
what had happened was
claiming that they support the boycott. Then why were you in Washington, D.C. with this man as he was announcing an end to the boycott? And then
her
they
and
want
Nina
to
Turner did
claim,
that.
huh?
Her and Nina Turner made a post about it
Creating
afterwards.
confusion, because then they say they're announcing an end to this so-called fast. Then they claim the fast went from a 40-day fast to now a 400 plus day fast. When was that ever announced anywhere? Right? And what did all the headlines say in the beginning till our press conference to flip it back? What did it say? Target boycott ends. And the way I found out was because of a breaking news flash from the Star Tribune, our local paper. And
I
it
saw that.
included that headline that the
And a
Target
picture of your
boycott
baby.
and
They
my
put a picture
baby.
of your
We
baby.
both have daughters named Asada. My
We both have
8-year-old
daughters named
daughter
Masada.
named Asada was pictured in that article holding up one of our signs from our press conference calling for the national boycott of Target.
That's shady.
So they use my baby's picture to add legitimacy to a false story claiming the boycott was over. So I don't understand what their point was. I don't know who got
Yeah.
what or
So
why
so
they
to
would
that
do
point,
this.
okay, so the so-called the midterms are coming up. I will say personally, I have been holding Tamika Mallory accountable specifically because I've noticed a difference in like the tone of some of her posts and things. And to me it's really sad because I see this all the time, particularly around election time. You have the same players who've been sitting around traveling, selling books, making money hand over fist. If I'm not mistaken, I believe all of them are millionaires. if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Nina might not be, but Tamika and Jamal, yeah, you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to understand is, to what point is the National Democratic Party potentially, because I want you to also talk about when the NAACP just recently came. So like once you got arrested and once all these other people got arrested and it was all over international news, we suddenly started seeing the bourgeoisie fly in. We start
Yep.
seeing all these people fly in. And like, and I'm like, okay, are they checking in or they just want to come and clout chase? Oh, we on the ground, you know, we about to get some clout and get some checks. And I'm just like, so I made my own post when I seen the NAACP president was there. And I'm just like, are y'all, did the Democratic Party like call y'all? And then also I noticed that the other thing is with the CEOs in Minnesota, remember they also released an open letter. So it
After
seems
a
like
general strike happened where they lost
they
money
they lost
when the
money.
day
That's what
before
this is
Alex
about.
Preddy was killed. And
Yes.
that's when they finally wrote a weak statement,
Weak ass,
you
yeah.
know, calling for restraint and all. And it's like this beyond restraint. We are literally under attack. And y'all
Yeah.
are comfortable as long as people keep spending their money with your companies. And now
Yeah.
that you done lost some money from the general strike, now you want to suddenly issue a weak ass letter, you
Right.
know, asking for restraint when
Yeah.
they should have done much more from the very beginning. You know, Target actually let ICE stage in its parking lots. They
Yeah.
let Greg Bovino, who is the commander of Border Patrol, walk through their stores like he owned the place. They even arrested Target employees who were U.S. citizens right in the vestibule of a Target store.
Hmm.
So Target and a lot of these other companies have been complicit. Target also contributed $1 million to the Trump Vance inauguration committee. So they picked a side. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why anyone would call for an end to the boycott. They picked a side and so did we. And we were
Right.
winning and are winning.
And are winning.
So I don't understand the point behind Jamal Bryant, Tamika Mallory, and Nina Turner even going to Washington, D.C. for this announcement and creating more confusion for a boycott that didn't need their help and it was already successful. We didn't need for them to call for an end with nothing to show for our people. In terms of the Democratic Party, what we saw happening was in the midst of all this, the Congressional Black Caucus took up the issue and started trying to hold Target accountable. Right? We also saw, and the national president of the NAACP, like you said, came here. So my friends had reached out to him after we got arrested, asking them to issue a statement. I think he ultimately did, but was more skittish about issuing a statement calling for me and Chantel, you know, to be released because of us being arrested and detained overnight by the feds, you know, when the judges said we could be released. And so it's, you know, a long story, but we wound up spending the night in jail. And then I didn't hear from Derek Johnson again till he was on a flight on his way to Minneapolis, literally about to land, asking if I would come meet with him. By then, I was already 2 or 3 hours away from the Twin Cities at a safe house because we have been getting death threats, you know, from MAGA, nasty emails, people posting our address online. And so I took my family and some other folks in the movement. We went to a safe house to protect ourselves. So I'm already away from the Twin Cities. This man is about to land, and he's suddenly calling me, talking about, can I meet with you? And I'm like, do you, when did you know you were coming? I'm like, what do you have on your schedule? When he names off what's on his schedule, I'm just like, now you're here because of our work, right? We're the ones that called for this, the city, we did the city's church protest, you know, in the midst of ICE. We put a civil rights framework on this situation with ICE. But you called me when you're in the air about to land. That let me know that meeting with me wasn't a real priority, that it was just for show. And I
Yeah.
let him know that. I said, this visit seems more like optics to me because he was going to go on the Native Land podcast.
Uh-huh. They did.
Then he asked me, you know, do you want to come with me? I'm like, no. You know,
Come with
I had
you. No, do you
dozens
want
of
to come with me?
girl. And I was like, no, I don't want to come with you to this podcast. And I said, I'm not driving 2 to 3 hours back to the Twin Cities to meet with you when you are waiting until the 11th hour to even reach out to me.
Period.
And I said, your visit to me seems more like optics than substance.
Yeah.
And then he said, can we have a call? So we had a call and we talked about it. And I let him know, look, this is why I only lasted 18 months as an NAACP president. I was elected in a
Woo!
special election. I did not run again. And it had to do with the previous president, Cornell Brooks III, who was a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. He's also an ordained AME pastor. This
Mm-hmm.
man, we up here fighting for Philando Castile, fighting for Jamar Clark. This man started calling me anytime we held a protest, trying to micromanage me as a president who was a volunteer president, who helped revive the chapter and get our community involved. You're trying to micromanage me for being present at protests and leading protests. And I was like, I'm not running again once my term ends. And that's when I
And this is
ran for
exactly
mayor.
why the NAACP, in my opinion, is not a legitimate organization. Anybody research their founding, you can, understand that. Nekima,
I mean,
I
they
just
can
want,
do some good, but the
yeah,
problem
sounds good.
is
Yeah, I
they're
don't,
too
yeah.
connected to corporations, right?
Well,
Like,
that's the thing. Like, how you gonna hold somebody
that's why they
accountable and
ain't
you get
calling
money from
nobody
them?
out. That's why they ain't calling them out, in my opinion. Because when I went to the national convention in 2015, I went to the yacht party of the board
I'm
chairwoman.
sorry. I'm sorry. No. What? Run that back. You went to what kind of party?
A yacht party of the board chairwoman, and it was sponsored by Wells Fargo and several
Oh,
other corporations. That's what I noticed. And I'm like, no wonder
a
we
yacht
can't get
party.
justice when they're doing predatory loans and all this other stuff is going on. You guys are too tied in to corporate money to call them out, right? And that's probably why we were the ones to call out Target, because we're not locked into their money. We don't want or need anything from them. But we do want accountability when it comes to our community. And we did let our community know, look, you got the power of your purse. We're not helpless as a result of what the Trump administration is doing. We can
Teach.
fight back using the power of the purse. And what did it do? It sparked the Latino freeze. It sparked the Tesla takedown. It sparked rolling economic boycotts
Yes.
because of the work of Black grassroots activists partnering with
Always.
our community to call
Always.
for justice and not having any other agenda besides that. So that's
Always.
how we got here. That's the backstory of what led us here. It was not by accident, it was not random, it was intentional. And so
What was
even
it?
now, we're
Go
Roland
ahead.
Martin, featuring them on his show
I
to
saw that.
give
That's what I
them
was about to ask you
perspective. It's
too.
like, Roland, you know the truth. You know the truth. You should have told the truth, the full truth back then when you found out that Jamal Bryant was trying to hoodwink and bamboozle y'all, pretending that he wasn't at the meeting with Target. And when you found out that we were the founders of the boycott. But that didn't happen. He shouted us out a few times, but continued to give them a platform, to spread misinformation and disinformation. And
That's
that's a
intentional.
shame. That's
It is.
erasure. And it's
Yeah.
erasure of our work as Black grassroots, as Black women coming from the grassroots as organizers, just as what's happened historically with the erasure of Black women leaders, whose
That's
names
right.
we don't know, whose
That's
faces we
right.
don't know, whose
That's
stories
right.
we don't know, but who did
Right.
all the heavy lifting during the civil rights movement.
Yep. And you
That's
got
why
and
we
you
know
got
about
Nina
Dr.
Turner.
King,
Right. Nina
because of
Turner
Black women.
and Tamika sitting up there doing that against another black woman. I don't want to hear nothing about black women out their mouth ever again because they hustling. Before we wrap up, can you share sort of where do we go from here? Have you heard from any of them since yesterday personally?
No, and I don't think I'll hear from them because they know, in my opinion, they know that what they did is wrong. That's why you see them backtracking. I don't know if they didn't expect that backlash. I don't know what they were thinking because to me it was obvious. This is not acceptable. It's so disrespectful to our community. People to not get anything for the people and we've spent over a year boycotting this company, and they're the only ones that benefit from this confusion y'all created?
250 million. I think I heard Nina Turner say, well, we negotiated 250 million for black banks. What? For the what? Like, who told y'all that that's what this was about? Like,
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's probably why they stood with Jamal Bryant at that press conference thinking they were going to get a pat on the back. Because remember, they didn't got awards from the Route 100 for this Target
please, they
boycott.
done stole the
He got
boycott
an
and then got
NAA,
awards
Jamal Bryant got an NAACP Image Award recently for
for
this
the
Target
boycott.
boycott,
And
right?
so Derek Johnson, all of these,
Right. So think about that. Something that they didn't start, something they co-opted, something that they've used to create confusion and misinformation and disinformation in the community, something that they've used to benefit Target for a boycott that is working. So
So
I
I
want to
asked Roland
remind
if the
them,
check is cleared because I really hope. I mean, clearly the check is cleared
I
because
know they
who
were
told
trying to
y'all to
get
do that?
money for the black press, so I don't know. All I know is what happened was wrong.
They all
All I
hustling.
know is that we're 10 toes down, standing up for our people and what is right, that the boycott continues. I don't care what they say. I don't care
Period.
where they hold press conferences. I don't care what publicists they use to spread their message. The boycott continues. And it has been indefinite from day one. It will continue to be indefinite. And many in our community are saying we ain't going back no matter
They sure
what.
are.
And
There
I
is
do
so
not
many
blame
people
them.
pushing back. So many
Thank
people.
God
Even
for that. That means the message rang through, that people understand what this is. They see the power of the black dollar. They see the power of women's dollars. They see the
Mhm.
power of communities of color,
Yep.
LGBTQ community, all
Yeah.
banding together.
Yeah.
This has not happened before on this magnitude.
Right.
And
Right.
Target knew that their fourth quarter numbers was about to come out.
Yep.
That's why they help create, in my opinion, this diversion. But
Yes.
we are still standing on business. And I urge everybody, stand on business, keep boycotting, keep getting the message out. Period.
Keep boycotting, keep getting the message out. And I guess the final word is because one of the things that bothers me is Nekima, is that this is cyclical historically. It's cyclical that there is this grass tops of people that's connected in with the system, like you mentioned, corporations. They're connected in to the titty that we actually fighting for justice. And so, to me, that's a fundamental contradiction. You know what I mean? There
To our
is,
liberation, absolutely,
right.
yes.
It's a
But to
fundamental
our
contradiction.
conformity, it's not. If you're
That's
thinking
right.
we all should just get along and conform and go along with the system, I mean, think about the backlash we received from a nonviolent protest at a church. But how many people didn't care that an ICE director is sitting here overseeing brutal conduct by these ICE agents, defending them in court, claiming they
Mhm.
didn't have evidence that constitutional violations were happening, and
Right.
literally killing a mother of three children who will never see her kids again, and then
Right.
killing an ICU nurse who worked with veterans.
Right.
But they're more concerned about us as people of faith having a nonviolent protest in a church that is harboring an ICE pastor. Come on now. It shows you where some people's minds are.
He's the
I'm not
best
there. I'm for
Yeah.
truth,
over Ice.
justice, freedom, the liberation of our people.
Me
And
too.
like you keep saying about the Democratic Party, the sad part is many of us feel like we have no options. Because I mean, what are we gonna do? Vote Republican? I mean, what the Independent Party? Where are they? The Green Party? Where are they? Where's the Independent Black Party? And so we feel like we have no choice. That's why Fannie Lou Hamer fought for the Black people's voices to be heard through the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party,
That's right.
right?
That's
Because
right.
she's like, what are our alternatives? And this was back in the 60s, where
Right.
they didn't see alternatives. So this
Right.
two-party system was never designed to work for us. That's what
Right.
we have to remember, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes we vote to make sure our vote doesn't get wasted because our people die for our vote. But we are constantly voting for the lesser of two evils. And sometimes it's hard to tell which side is the lesser of two evils. Now,
Exactly.
under
Yeah.
Trump, it's easy to tell,
Yeah.
right? But other times it's much more difficult to tell,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially when they only come knocking on our doors around the midterms or the
Here it
general
comes.
elections,
Oh,
and they
That's why.
offer nothing to our community in exchange. That's
Yeah.
why the masses of our people are still facing the socioeconomic conditions and marginalization that they are.
Yep. Yep. Well, sister, I want to appreciate you. You know that I love you. And I
I love you
appreciate
too.
everything that you have put down. And like I said, I know you. You've been doing this. This is not about no photo out for you. This is not about clout chasing for you. Like you said, you in your own community. Like this is your backyard, right? Like this is your assignment. You're not flying to everybody else's community to tell them what to do, you know what I mean? And so I just want to appreciate you. I want to thank Monique, the other brother Jaylani. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, sis, I forgot to tell you, there was a group of 30 young people that came to Selma this past weekend from
Wow.
Minneapolis. And I met the brother
That's
because
incredible.
I don't forget faces, but I forgot the brother's name. But the press conference you had to announce the second year of the boycott, he facilitated it. He's a Somali brother.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he
He
work
came.
he works with Jaylani at Care,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
at Care. Yeah, and I met him. I was like, I know him. He from Minnesota. I was like, what he doing down here in Selma? And I had Hashem blow the horn, and I waved at him. And I motioned for him to come over, and he
Wow, you
did.
do
Yeah,
remember faces.
yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
there were quite a few Somali folks who went to connect with our history, and I believe it's in part because they saw us standing 10 toes down as they were being
Hmm.
attacked by the Trump administration.
Yeah,
We stood up in the history of our ancestors because what
that's
we
right.
saw from those ICE agents reminded us of slave catchers
That's
and how
right.
our people have been treated. So we couldn't sit back while people were being dehumanized, brutalized, and literally killed. No.
Literally, literally. You fight against all human beings being killed. So I was not surprised when you rose up, and I had to continue to defend you because there, like you said, there is confusion and there's an intentional that I actually blame on politics too, but there's an intentional divide that has happened specifically between what's happening with immigrant communities and Black folks feeling unheard, Black folks feeling like,
Right.
wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? So just wanted to
And
bring you.
that's a legitimate
It
concern,
is.
right?
It's
But the
legitimate. Yeah,
reality at the same time is they want us fighting each other. And then
exactly.
how many black
Divide and
folks
conquer.
exactly how many black folks said we're sitting this one out? And then
Yeah,
ICE was still at their doorstep in their neighborhoods.
in
Keith,
Chicago.
Keith
Yep.
Porter Jr. was killed
Yes.
by an ICE agent.
In LA. Yep.
Dr. Linda was killed in Georgia riding
Yep.
in her vehicle
Yeah.
when ICE was chasing somebody they thought was illegal, crashed
And there's
into
a
this
bunch of
woman's car.
untold stories. There's a bunch of untold stories that I know about, even from Memphis. You know what I mean? That
Right.
did not make national news, like kicking in people's doors, no warrants. These are
Yes.
citizens,
And
Black
kids in
people.
people's schools. Our black kids are felt just as terrorized when ICE came on the scene. So no, we couldn't afford to sit this one out. But if
Yeah,
anybody did sit it out, I didn't blame them, right? Because we've been
yeah,
fighting for so long. But I'm not gonna say don't go sit down if I know we got some fight in us and we know historically how to take on these systems, how to
that's
take
a
on
fact.
law enforcement, how to stand up for humanity. Because
That's
all
a
the
fact.
gains that we have received through our hard-won advocacy and battles against these systems has benefited everybody.
Yep,
That's in our DNA.
yep.
So we weren't going to sit back and just let this happen in our backyard.
I
We
appreciate you
stood.
for taking this time, period, because lots of people have joined. There's lots of comments. I'm sure more people will continue to listen and share. You laid it out. You gave the context that, CNN will never capture, MSNBC, because they only want you to talk 3 minutes. And I'm glad that you took the time, especially on my platform, like I said, because of the confusion. I'm like, this is not Black people only fighting, just this is about the apparatus of dehumanization, period, and law enforcement. Black people are not extents from this ice. We see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I appreciate you. Thank you. You already know I'm here if you need me. I'm glad, for all the people that's been in the comments. I appreciate you all for sharing, for listening. And I hope you all really learn something and have a new perspective. I did see a few comments from people that I know that are on my friend list that said, wow, if I had knew this context, I would have participated. So we did some good here. And I know that this video will be up. I'm going to actually download this video as well and post it on my Instagram as well so that this can get further. But Nekima, like I said, thank you. I'm here if you need me. I'll be back up there for the next court date. We talked about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, is there any final comments or any, I would say, like to do that you want for the people that's still here listening with us before we wrap up?
Well, I want to thank everybody who took the time to tune in to this conversation. I hope that it shed light on what really happened, the backstory, how we got here, that it wasn't by happenstance, it was by design. This is manufactured confusion
Yeah,
meant to benefit a company that we are
yeah,
all collectively holding accountable. And here's the thing, y'all, if we wasn't winning, none of this would be happening. We're
that's a
winning.
fact.
We're winning. So we're going to continue boycotting Target and holding them accountable. They cannot escape. They're going to have to change or, hey, the rest is history.
That's
So
right.
just want to say I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to keep doing the best I can. Keep us in your prayers because we
You got
continue
it.
to stand 10 toes down for our people.
All the way. Black power. Love you.
Love you
Peace.
too, sis. Thank you.
Peace.
Okay, so after watching this in an entirety, right, Miko, black folks are still going to Target. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care whether y'all going there in person or whether y'all going on DoorDash or whether y'all going on Instacart app, y'all are still at Target, period. Here's the thing about it, and we said this last night. Kim and myself had this conversation last night. As much as we want to blame someone else, we do this to ourselves. As you can clearly see, we do this to ourselves. Our own black people do this to ourselves. People are out here working hard in these movements, and you get people, I'm doing the live right now. You get people that want the attention, that want the fame, that want you to be their palms to be greased. Because this entire story that I have sat here and listened to, I have sat here and listened to how people have undermined these women that are yet still in Minnesota doing the work. You get what I'm saying? And then we look foolish because it's like we're helping them, but then they said, no, we're over here. We're the leaders. We're the leaders. No, you're not the leader. You said, why not boycott the USA? Look, that's a good question. That's a good question. And then they always talk about why we don't get reparations. Why you think we ain't getting reparations? We probably already getting reparations, but it's probably going to certain people. It's probably already going to certain people. They're probably paying out reparations in a certain way, and then they're going to say, well, we gave y'all reparations. We did this, we did that, we did this. I ain't got no reparations. I ain't got nothing. But yet and still you allow people to come into this country and you give them loans that they ain't got to pay back. Y'all give them food stamps. Y'all give them money. Y'all give them all type of resources. But yet and still the black folks that have been in this country, Matter of fact, the black folks that have been in this world, look at what we do. Look at what we do. But it's hard for us to work together because we have coons, we have Uncle Toms and all of this other stuff that sit at the helm trying to undermine and put what we're doing under the rug. Oh, well, we're going to handle it a certain way. Y'all talking to the powers that be. Oh, we're going to handle this a certain way. We're going to do this. Just pay me this. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Don't worry about them. We'll handle them. This is what they do. This is what they do. You see it on YouTube. Y'all see it on YouTube. We see it on YouTube all the time. We see it on YouTube all the time. We have people who are actually activists and doing things and all of that stuff. I don't even want to throw myself in here, but you see people that are activists and they're speaking out, being a voice and all. I remember when the protests and everything came here to Florida. I was out there during all of that time. But see, the problem is it goes, oh, shoot. Wait a minute. Baby, can I get a cash app on this one? Hello, can I get a cash app on this one? Ain't it funny how these certain people want to get involved to hush up the people that's really getting out here doing the work? Sounds very familiar.
Oh.
My God, today sounds very familiar. You want to hush up the voices. You want to hush up the voices because y'all want to be the only ones because y'all have connected yourselves to the money and the power at be, or so-called the powers that be. You want to hush up voices like me, voices like Zakima and Naima. What? Maybe I want to mess that woman name up. Hold on, what's that lady name? Nekima and Zakiya. Y'all want to hush their voices up because they actually have the heart of the people, but y'all want to make sure that y'all keep getting paid. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Our own people. What'd you say? Biggie, hold on. Biggie said, I know the real story because I was there. As soon as Ben Crump came on the scene with his lawyer partner, it was all about the money, not about changing any laws of justice. Follow the track. Man, I'm telling you, all about the money. Listen, yeah, we want money. Yep. We want money. But we need change. This is the reason why it's like she said, we're skeptical when it comes down to putting certain people in office. Now, I don't know why the hell we voted for the little white boy instead of Jasmine, but even with that, though, the problem, you said Jives, but Jives, is this? No, it's not new. It's not new. Now that video with Zakima and Zakiya and Nekima, they just did that yesterday. This is not new. But this is what we're doing to our people. And yet and still we're screaming and hollering to these big corporations, to the USA, give us, pay us, you owe us. And that is true. That is true. What they do to black content creators on these platforms is asinine. You wouldn't believe it. What they do to these black content creators on these platforms is asinine. But some of these niggas, us, we kowtow and bow down, and this is the reason why we get where we at, because we got to kiss the ring. No, Look at I Show Speed. I Show Speed went to Africa to show everything that was going on unintentionally, but he showed everything that was going on. And look at what they did to some of his numbers. Look at what they did to some of his numbers. I'm telling you like this right here. This woman said the very same thing that I had been saying. Look at the fact that these niggas, these Baptist preachers and Church of God in Christ got paid. I didn't say it. She said it. She repeated the very same thing that I had been saying. The Church of God in Christ got paid just as well as them Baptist preachers from Target. That's not alleged. That's facts. That's facts. You can't tell me nothing or otherwise. All right, y'all. Ooh, Lord Jesus. We'll do donations and everything tonight. But this has really been something. This has really been something. This has really been something. This has really been ignorant and foolish. This has been ignorant and foolish. And yet and still, some of our people are going to be like, well, yes, Jamal got paid. Yeah, absolutely, Jamal got paid. Hey, Stevie, what's up, sister? And thank you. Xavier, ain't it funny that he said, oh, we didn't get nothing. We didn't get nothing. I didn't get paid from any of this. Yeah, you didn't get paid, but it went in somebody's account. It went in somebody's account. I have the video. I have the video. Again, this man sits here and lies in the pulpit. You said somebody being honest. No, that nigga is being dishonest. Somebody got paid. Mr. Big said the church account, it happened in my community with Habit and Humanity. The pastor said he didn't get paid nothing, but he didn't say the church didn't get nothing. Thank you. They'll sit here and tell, oh, I didn't get nothing. No, but it went in somebody's account. Carew, GEI, somebody's offshore something. But then y'all want to shut me up. Y'all want to shut people like me up. Man, get out of here. Where's my sound effect? It's on 6.
Shut up, bitch.
Just shut the fuck up. Just period. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching. This has been good. I look forward to seeing you all tonight. Yeah. Xavier, we're gonna call out the facts. Period. And then where's Ruby? Get back, Satan. I'm running late. Okay, get on back, Satan. I'm running late. I'm gonna go and play this.
I'm running late. Get behind me,
up, turn it up. We riding high, spotlight glow, killing hearts on the king.